The News Hour at 9.
Ladies and gentlemen, India has recorded nearly 43,000 cases of coronavirus and 2,573 new infections have been recorded. It's a single largest spike in 24 hours. But while the cases have risen by over 2,400 per day for the last 3 days, there has been a big spike in the recovery rate as well, which is at an encouraging 27.45% right now. In fact, the number of recoveries today have touched a new record with 1,074 patients getting cured and leaving hospitals. We're on day one of the lockdown 3.0. So how is India really placed? Let's take a look at the numbers that have been coming in the last 3 days, for example, in 3 zones to figure it out. In the red zones, of course, there are most of our metro cities. And Delhi's numbers are rather concerning. 23% of the cases have actually been recorded in just the last 3 days. And the recovery rate also seems to be dipping by the day. Those are the numbers on your screen. In Mumbai, the number of cases has marginally decreased and the number of recoveries is gradually increasing, but ever so gradual. So is Mumbai on the road to recovery? Only time will tell. The most concerning is Chennai, where Coimbatore market has contributed to a huge surge of numbers of infection. There has been a jump of a whopping 63 cases today. The market has been shut down, and that is now being seen as a super spreader market. Let's now take a look also at the orange zones, which are relatively better placed than the red zones. And here there are a whole new range of examples of how the situation is panning out. In Gurugram, in Haryana, there has been a sharp spike in cases in the last 3 days from 6 to 11. In Coimbatore, the situation appears to be largely constant, with the number of cases ranging between 142 and 146 for the last 3 days. That's the per day rise. And the good news comes from Kasaragod, where there have been no new cases in the last 3 days. In fact, Kerala has not seen any new case in the last 48 hours. And that is the story of Kerala, which is just so encouraging. Let's now move to the green zones, which are supposed to be the best zones in the country where there are no COVID infections. The good news here is that there have been no new cases reported so far from Ernakulam to North Goa, no new cases in the last 3 days. And that is why green zones have something that India can really cheer about. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's important at this point in time? Yes, it is lockdown 3.0, which is seeing easing of curbs, but the accountability and responsibility on us, the citizens of India, has just grown ever so much to take care, to take all the precautions and continue to be corona safe, because that's the only way we can beat this pandemic. On to the next nation's talking point, ladies and gentlemen. That's the train ticket tussle. That's occupied most of the news developments today. The day began with the Congress President Sonia Gandhi taking the moral high ground by announcing that all Congress states would be footing the ticket bill of thousands of migrants who were yearning to head back home. She shamed the government, in fact the Modi government, for being unable to protect the situation of these poor migrants. However, as the day went by, it was her words that started to tumble like a pack of cards. On the case tonight, I want to put in perspective the basis of this war of words. The opposition, led by the Congress party, claimed that the Modi government was trying to fleece the labor class, people who had no money. But by 4 p.m. this evening, the Health Ministry's Joint Secretary claimed in clear and loud words that Railways was paying 85% of the ticket price and only 15% was being paid by the states, because these trains were requisitioned, specially requisitioned by these states. This means that only a nominal fee was being charged to maintain accountability of who's sitting in the train, how these people can be contact traced in future if they were to develop symptoms, and of course the fact that there should not be overcrowding at stations, so therefore it requires some amount of a nominal fee which any state was if it was willing to pay. It was fine by the central government because it was in any case paying an 85% subsidy. In a press release dated the 2nd of May, the Press Information Bureau had clarified that the railways was only accepting passengers brought and facilitated by the state governments, and that no tickets were being sold at any railway station. No tickets means no money was being asked for by the railways for profit. Now here is another fact check for the Congress party. In an order dated the 1st of May, the Ministry of Railways has broken down the ticket price, which it says is made of sleeper class fare, a superfast charge of ₹30 and a 20 rupees additional charge for water and food that was being provided, and that was to be collected by the states and handed over to the railways. This is all in black and white, and papers for this exist in my hand. And anything above this nominal fee was something that the states have collected, not the centre. More embarrassment for the Congress came with the fact that their Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has gone on record to say that his state would reimburse the fare, which it itself means that the migrants were being charged. Before I throw open this debate, listen in to Sonia Gandhi, who was later rebutted by a health ministry official.
देश के अलग अलग कोनों में लाखों श्रमिक भाई और बहन मुश्किल में फंसे हैं और कोरोना महामारी के इस समय में घर वापस जाने के लिए इंतज़ार कर रहे हैं। साधन और पैसा तो दूर की बात है, पूरे राशन तक की व्यवस्था नहीं। संकट की इस घड़ी में भारत सरकार और रेल मंत्रालय घर वापस लौटने के लिए रेल यात्रा का किराया और स्पेशल चार्ज वसूल रहे हैं। कांग्रेस पार्टी ने निर्णय लिया कि हर प्रदेश में ज़रूरतमंद श्रमिक भाइयों और बहनों के घर लौटने की रेल यात्रा का खर्च उठाएंगे।
Based on the request given from states for particular cases, उन्होंने जब गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से रिक्वेस्ट की तो उसके बेसिस पर स्टेट की रिक्वेस्ट के तहत उन लोगों को स्पेशल ट्रेन चलाने की हमने परमिशन दी। जैसे कि आपने कहा है, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया हो या रेलवेज हो, किसी भी कोशिश में हमने कभी भी कोई भी वर्कर से चार्ज करने की बात नहीं की है। हमने 85% जो पूरी ट्रांसपोर्टेशन का कॉस्ट बियर किया जाता है, वह 85% जो है वो रेलवेज बियर करती हैं, 15% स्टेट को बियर करना है, और उसी प्रोसेस और बेस्ड ऑन स्टेट्स रिक्वेस्ट जो ये प्रोसेस शुरू हुआ है उसको स्टेट गवर्नमेंट उसी तहत में कोऑर्डिनेट भी कर रही हैं, एक्सेप्ट फॉर 1 or 2 states.
So the legitimate question on the news hour tonight is Congress faking fear over train fares? That's the question and the big debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me right on top of the debate is GVL Narasimha Rao, Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the BJP. Also joining me tonight is Majid Memon, Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament from the NCP, and Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author and scientist, also on the show with us. I want to ask you, Mr. Majid Memon. Mr. Majid Memon, is there a obfuscation of facts that has been done by the opposition, because the government has made it clear that 85% of the entire cost of running these special trains is being borne by the centre. It is the remaining 15% that is the issue of contention. If any state or any political party does not want to charge the labor, migrant labor for this money, all they have to do is that they can pick up the tab. After all, it's only 15% of the cost. So what's the big deal? Why are opposition parties pointing fingers at the Modi government when they are picking up 85% of the charge anyways?
Now, Navika ji, you would permit me uninterruptedly say about 2 minutes to express my views. Firstly, let us not make every issue, much less a sensitive issue of starving people, millions of them throughout the country. Let us not drag them into BJP versus Congress. You know, even whether through media or otherwise, these issues, the particular issue of arranging transport for those who are empty-handed, empty-stomached, empty-pocketed for the past 6 weeks. Daily wages earners, these people working in factories and mills and several places have been without job, to the knowledge of everybody. And if they are to be transported from one place to their native homes, it is a matter of shame that we are talking about that they should pay. Now, it doesn't matter for the migrant laborer as to whether the state bears the cost or center bears the cost, or BJP pays, Modi ji pays, or Sonia ji pays. It doesn't matter for him at all. What is important for India, for our country as a whole, and for those who are concerned with the laborers and with the poor, what matters is that they must be looked after properly. Not only they are to be transported free, I am emphasizing this, but they should be arranged free water and food on their journey till they reach their destination. It is the prime duty of the state, that is the government of India and state government together. I don't want to say BJP or Congress and etc. It is the duty of the rulers in such atmosphere to ensure that every migrant laborer who has been starving, struggling for survival, and is now rushing to his own residences, his own native places, must be looked after properly. Free fare, free food, free water, look after them and see to it that they reach there. Why do we make controversy whether Sonia Gandhi pays or Narendra Modi?
Well, I can't find any fault with the argument that you've given, Mr. Majid Memon, because yes, these are poor laborers and they should be transported for free. I have no argument with that. But when you said the last sentence, I want to ask you, when the Congress party made a big deal about Sonia Gandhi releasing a statement that we'll pick up the tab, I just want to ask you, because you're a fair person, you're a lawyer and you see arguments on both sides. So I want to ask you, Mr. Majid Memon, was the Congress trying to take the moral high ground by saying, oh, we are going to reimburse? Because in any case, even if they were going to reimburse, it was just 15%. So I'm asking you that question because 85% देने वाले ने तो चूं भी नहीं की, 15% जो दे रहा है उसने इतना बड़ा स्टेटमेंट किया. मैं इस मुद्दे पर आपसे सवाल पूछना चाहती हूँ.
Ravika ji, I would answer this. This is very important. Just as you are saying that I have been fair, I expect you are also fair. And definitely, you will see to it that no prejudice is caused to one side or the other side as far as political involvement is concerned. Remember, Sonia Gandhi came and made a statement that we would bear it because till then the Health Ministry had not made this clear that 85% the center is paying. It is thereafter that Love Agarwal comes and then flashes the letter and says that look here, 85% railway is bearing. Fine. Sonia Gandhi would not say, or anybody from opposition would not say, you don't bear this 85%. Fine, if you are paying 85%, but even still, 15% also, why do you leave it to somebody else, either to laborers or to state government? You and railway could have afforded to pay entire 100%, and as I said, their food, because they are traveling overnight, 36 hours, 48 hours, one does not know from one end to another. So are they being looked after properly? We are concerned as Indian citizens, as leaders, not belonging to this side or that side.
All right. So let me get in GVL Narasimha Rao, your colleague in the Rajya Sabha, to respond. GVL Narasimha Rao, is this garbled communication that's the problem, or is this the intent that is the problem?
First of all, Navika, the sentiments expressed by Mr. Majid Memon, they are certainly unexceptionable, and you also found them so. But it's not the statements alone. I think it's not lofty ideals or statements, but actually deeds matter. Maharashtra government, for the trains that are operating out of Maharashtra, trains that are leaving Maharashtra, government is not paying even that small amount. Kerala government, which is ruled by CPM, has not paid a penny. They not only collected charge, apparently they collected some additional money also, maybe for medical examinations or whatever. And Rajasthan government claims that they will reimburse later. So this is the entire Sonia Gandhi statement is I think is heaped in hypocrisy. I think you don't do anything for these migrant laborers. You don't look after them in the states that you are in power. And then you want to only indulge in politics. I think behind this, I will certainly say the Congress party has a very nasty design. They are not happy with the way the lockdown has progressed, that India is very safe. We have seen to be the best country in managing COVID, and possibly Sonia Gandhi wants India to become Italy. And if she is so nostalgic about Italy, she can always plan to return whenever she chooses to. But let her not dare to make India into Italy. And if she really wants to contribute to the country, she and Rahul Gandhi are accused of stealing tax. They have to pay 155 crores in tax. I think there is a tax demand pending on them. Let them pay that amount to the government when it needs that money. There is a Vivad Se Vishwas scheme, and Sonia Gandhi, if she is listening to this broadcast, should make use of it and write out a check tomorrow. They are a very rich party. They have a lot of money, and public money, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi should not really steal. I think they should pay up that money.
All right. Let me open up the debate. Let me open up the debate and let me get in Mr. Tehseen Poonawalla, who's joining this debate. Also joining me tonight is Mr. Pawan Verma, former MP of the Rajya Sabha, Tanveer Ahmed, spokesperson of the JDS, A.N. Shamsheer, MLA of the CPM in Kerala, Imtiaz Jalil, Member of Parliament of the AIMIM, and of course my friend Ashutosh, political analyst and former journalist, in fact senior journalist. And I want to ask you, Tehseen Poonawalla. Tehseen Poonawalla.
Navika, can I?
Yes, I'm coming to you, Anand Ranganathan, but I want to ask Tehseen Poonawalla a very pointed question. And Tehseen Poonawalla, the question is simply this.
Yes, ma'am.
85% is being paid by the centre, 15% by any state, because these are specially requisitioned trains that have been sought, and there is a very clear communication that has been given by the railways that they are not selling any tickets. They're not even typing names of people. Those records and those details are for states to decide, and to decide who's going to get onto those trains. And the fact of the matter is, if there is a little bit of a charge, you'll be able to control crowds. That's an administrative issue. Tehseen Poonawalla, which among these is a faulty administrative procedure? Is the 85% subsidy being given by somebody faulty, or is the 15% which states are not willing to pay, is that a faulty intention?
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And like always on your show, I'm always prepared with all the documents. So first, you refer to the document of Shaili Srivastava for 1st of May, which spoke of the additional charge of 30 plus 20 on top of the train ticket. This was confirmed by no less than Mr. V.K. Yadav, the railway chairperson, who's still on record saying, we will charge migrants for traveling. Trains cannot run free. Mr. V.K. Yadav still sticks by that statement. But maybe Mr. V.K. Yadav is a liar. Maybe the document by Shaili Srivastava, which does not clarify that this will be borne at 85-25%, was a misunderstanding. Is also the document by the railways a lie? Point 11, Ministry of Railways, point 11, part number C, which says, and I quote it, the local state government authority shall hand over the tickets to the passengers cleared by them and collect the ticket fare and hand over the total amount to the railways. चलो वो भी झूठ बोल रहे क्योंकि उस डॉक्यूमेंट में भी 85 और 15% का जिक्र नहीं हुआ है. Is Subramaniam Swamy lying where he said it is foolish for the government to ask money? And चलो Subramaniam Swamy is also lying. Is the Ahmedabad Mirror and Deepal Trivedi of the Times of India group and Times Now group also lying, whose front page exposure today rattled the government when it showed migrants who paid in excess of 700 rupees, the ticket that is being shown on Times Now right now, and the government then came out and said, oh, it is to be borne 85 and 15%. I dare the Honourable Member of Parliament GVL Narasimha Rao to show me the document which said 85-15% before today. I dare him to show that. He may
Before I
continue
get
to
in
abuse
GVL
Sonia Gandhi.
Narasimha Rao,
Please show
I'm
me the
holding
document.
in my hand a document which is also from the Press Information Bureau, and it is on the 2nd of May, which supersedes the earlier 2 letters that you are talking about by the Railway Ministry, and it says here, no tickets being sold at any station. No tickets being sold at any station.
Yes, ma'am. That is, may I clarify that? Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for bringing that up.
But Telangana, which ran the first train, did not charge a rupee. It was up to the state government. No other government charged money.
1 second. Please. 1 second, please allow me to clarify. The question was for me. Let's not
Navika,
interrupt.
can I?
Yes, no ticket was being sold at the
Can I
railway
please
station.
come in?
However, tickets were to be given to the state government to take the money and then pay the central government.
Anand Ranganathan is responding to you. Anand Ranganathan, before I go across to Mr. Pavan Verma, Anand Ranganathan, Mr. Anand Ranganathan, please respond to Tehseen Poonawalla.
Yeah, good evening, Navika. You know, it would be scandalous and criminal to charge the migrant workers for their trip back home. Not only because they are living hand to mouth and have suffered so much this past month, but also because the government has never charged transportation costs from any evacuee under similar circumstances, be it air, road or sea transportation. Now let us please look at the facts. Number one, the Home Ministry order clearly states that no tickets are being sold at any station. That centre is charging 15% from states while bearing 85% of the cost itself, and that it is the responsibility of the states to bring the migrants to the trains and board them. That said, Times Now has reported that Kerala, Rajasthan and Maharashtra made the migrants pay for the railway tickets, and Times of India and Ahmedabad Mirror has since reported that Gujarat also did the same. Now point number 2. The Ministry of Railways order, on the other hand, clearly states, clause 11, and I'm quoting it, that railways shall print the tickets and hand them over to the states, and that the states shall hand over the tickets to the passengers and collect the ticket fare. And hand over the total amount to the railways. So a lot of handing over is going on, but the bottom line is that while the MHA order doesn't say anything about whether the migrant should be charged the fare, cleverly it says no tickets are being sold at the station. The railways order does in fact mention collecting fare from the migrants. So they are not contradictory. The MHA order and the railways order are not contradictory. Honestly, we must train our bureaucracy to write orders in a language that isn't convoluted or confounding and charge them for it.
Well, Mr. Pavan Verma, do you think this is bureaucracies that has created the confusion, or do you think it is, as usual, political point scoring?
Look, Navika, I'm not here to argue for the government or criticize the Congress. But I have a point of view, and please allow me to state it in the next 1 minute or less. If there is one segment of our society which has suffered the most as a result of the economic lockdown, it is the swathe of migrant laborers across our urban landscape. There were demands that there should be an organized attempt to send them back home because they are roofless, penniless, jobless and on the street. This was not looked at. Until 29th April, the government said only buses will be employed. Now they say that some trains will run. But what is the fact of the matter? Cannot the state, and I say the state meaning center and state, rise to the occasion to send back this suffering mass of people with self-respect and dignity? What is the truth? Between the bureaucrats and the rival and competing orders issued by government, the 85% that the railways is to pay is a notional subsidy which the worker could claim as reimbursement from the state to which he is repatriated if that state government is willing to pay. I ask you, Navika, and I hope you are never in this position, have you ever stood in a line to get reimbursement from the state, and have you ever thought how many workers after 45 days of this suffering have the money to pay the ticket upfront, and I can tell you, workers have paid for their tickets. Whatever the government may say, state or center, I don't care. I have received dozens of calls from workers who have been asked to pay. This can be proven. So they are paying, and what the government is finally saying after this matter came to the fore, that 85% will be borne by the railways. But I repeat, that's a notional subsidy to be reimbursed to the worker once he reaches the state. Can you imagine the plight of this worker? He has no money to pay for the ticket. And if he reaches the state,
GVL Narasimha Rao, respond to these very pointed questions that have been raised by Mr. Pawan Verma. And he says that we have to put our hands on our hearts, that a worker who has spent 45 days in a lockdown, has no daily wage earnings, who has no job, wants to go home, can he be asked to pay? And Dr. Anand Ranganathan has raised the issue of the railways making it very clear that fare has to be collected by the state. I wanted to respond to both of these questions, and why the issue of 85% and 15% was not stated earlier on. Is it an afterthought?
No, it's not an afterthought. You don't have to disclose the amount of public money that is going into taking out your stranded migrants who are in distress to their hometowns. You don't have to declare the total amount of money that you are spending. What they are interested in is a hassle-free transportation. And today, by running these point-to-point trains, you are reaching them to their destination with the least minimum discomfort. I think that's a great effort, and that has to be appreciated. And states, you see, when you say this is the money on the ticket, nothing stops state government. Congress, Sonia Gandhi is making big claims. But why didn't her governments which her party runs, coalitions, why did they not think of this? If Sonia Gandhi can think of paying from possibly those tens of thousands of crores that they have robbed in corruption, can the state governments run by her own party, have they not read these government orders? How the hell is she claiming that I can pay from my party? Did anyone tell Maharashtra government that you cannot pay this money, you have to forcibly collect from the migrant labor? Come on, one has to apply mind. If Sonia Gandhi can think that she has all the money for largesse, her governments can easily spend public money. This is nothing but politics.
Well, that question can be argued either ways, GVL Narasimha Rao. But let me get in A.N. Shamsher, MLA of the Kerala Legislative Assembly and from the CPM. I want to ask you, Mr. Shamsher, in Ernakulam, and I have documents to support that, because in Ernakulam, the Railway Ministry has received 32 lakh rupees, in fact 32.5 lakh rupees from the Kerala government, because there were trains that have gone from Ernakulam to Danapur, Aluva to Khurda Road in Odisha, Aluva to Bhubaneswar, Ernakulam to Barauni in Bihar, and Ernakulam to Muzaffarpur, and money was collected. I want to ask you, the Kerala government was collecting money from people, migrant laborers, or was it paying this out of its own pocket to the railways?
First of all, Navika, I want to mention some points. As far as Kerala is concerned, we are not calling them as migrant workers. We are calling them as guest workers. We are treating them as guests. Nearly 12 lakh guest workers are here. We are treating them as guests. We give food. We give food, what they want. We give rice. We give wheat. We give potatoes. We give food for the last 42 days. We have treated them as guest workers. And also, some of them have discussed, they are penniless. But as far as Kerala is concerned, they are not penniless. We are giving a respectable salary for them. They are getting more than 30 to 40,000 per month they are earning by their hard work. And they are sending to their own homeland. As far as Kerala is concerned, we didn't collect any money amount from them. We collected ticket fare from the supervisors. Who is the supervisors of that migrant labor? Guest workers. We are collecting from them. And also the government has provided free food to them. Nearly fruit means chapati. And also, as far as we are concerned, we are giving medical facility to them. We have treated them We have sealed them as a quarantine.
So-
we have given a medical certificate
the
to them. This is
supervisor,
the way
you
how
are saying that the Kerala government is not paying for it. It is the supervisor who's paying for it. Please note, Kerala government is also sending them through somebody. Gujarat government has done. They've got an NGO to pick up the tab, and they've also paid the money because an NGO has paid. But let me come to Mr. Imtiaz Jaleel. Mr. Imtiaz Jaleel, I want to ask you a basic question, because here we are talking about intent. Let me tell you that 12,000 rupee per poor family has been deposited by the direct benefit transfer scheme into the accounts of these poor people. 12,000 rupees into the accounts of poor people, and that there are 8 crore poor people into whose account this money has gone. That works out to 96,000 crore. Just for simplicity, let's say 1 lakh crore has been transferred through central subsidy. Now, how many workers are we transporting? 20 lakh, 30 lakh, 50 lakh? That would be the number. Now, if we transport 50 lakh people, how much would the center be spending on that?
Navika.
200 crore or 300 crore? Do you think the Modi government, which is spending 1 lakh crore to feed the poor, cannot pay for these 300 or 400 crore as the case may be? So what is this accusation all about?
Well, Navika, the first question is the amount that you are talking about, 15,000 rupees have been deposited in their accounts. It's the claim of the government, actually. You ask all these workers and these laborers and all these migrants or the guest workers who are here stranded in Maharashtra, how many of them have actually got that money? Out of 10 people, you will find that all the 10 people or at least 9 people will say, no, we have not got any amount in our account. That is the reality. You must have seen for that 500 rupees that the government was depositing, there were huge queues. From 6 o'clock in the morning, from 5 o'clock in the morning, people were standing outside the banks. The banks would open at 10 o'clock, and these people were standing 3 hours, 4 hours before to get that 500 rupees.
Goalposts are changing now. Ashutosh ji and Tanveer Ahmed. Tanveer Ahmed, let me come to you first. Tanveer Ahmed, are the goalposts being changed now? You know, now we are talking about money that goes into their accounts, wo pahuncha nahi, and that issue has never been raised, but that's become an issue now. Nobody is accounting for the food grains that the government has given, and I have details of, how much has gone to which state, whether it is an Ujjwala gas or whether it is pulses or whether it is rice or wheat, whatever their staple food may be. And apart from that, 12,000 crore, 12,000 rupees per account into 8 crore accounts is 1 lakh crore. I'm saying, for argument's sake, you're a well-read man. Why would the government say 400 crore and spend 1 lakh crore?
Navika, we need to really understand the chronology. 0.7% is the amount which the central government has spent to fight corona. 99.3% is the amount which the state governments are spending. This 15% also, why should a state government spend when the other governments, the central governments across the world are spending 60%, 70%, 80%. Some countries they are spending even 100%. And here is our government which is collecting money as PM care, that care, this care, and they don't want to really spend for this poor migrant laborers who have really suffered a lot, and state government which has been taking care of them for such a long period, and on top of it state government got to pay. This I don't really understand the mathematics of Mr. Narendra Modi and government.
Respond on the mathematics, because now they want center to pay for everything. The state governments are going to just sit back and watch.
No, Navika, these are lies. I must counter.
Yeah, Navika, I'll keep it very simple.
Now they are
I'll keep it very simple, Mr. Rao. Can I please?
Why should BJP government run by Yediyurappa got to pay here?
Navika, can I?
Okay. Respond, Anand Ranganathan.
Navika. Yeah, Navika, I'll keep it very simple. I have just 2 questions to Mr. Rao, who is a BJP spokesperson. Number 1, Times of India has reported that Gujarat has also charged the migrant laborers for the train fare. And number 2, does he dispute the Ministry of Railways order, and I quote, that the passengers, the states shall hand over the tickets to the passengers and collect the ticket fare and hand over the total amount to the railways, unquote. These 2 simple questions to Mr. Rao.
GVR Narasimha Rao.
No, I think the central government has shown great responsibility towards these sections. I think let me counter the lies that were perpetrated on your channel.
Please answer the question, sir.
20 crore, and then I have to answer many questions, not just yours. 20 crore Jan Dhan accounts, direct transfer was made into those accounts. Each month, 10,000 crores. First month was paid a month ago. Another 10,000 crores is being paid now. This money doesn't go anywhere because they're going directly into accounts.
The strongest supporter of BJP is asking questions.
Navika,
I think GBL need to really answer the direct question.
8 crore farmer accounts. 8 crore farmer accounts, money has been paid. 2,000 rupees in each account was already transferred. Apart from this, for 3 months, the entire ration required to run the family, all the rations are being given free of cost. Now, so this is a 1.7 lakh crore package, and states pay not a penny in this. It's entirely footed by central government. All the PPEs.
Ashutosh, are we spreading fear by facts that are tailored? Facts that are tailored and clarifications that are coming late, Ashutosh.
Now, let me ask him, if Sonia Gandhi thinks she can pay, what's
no, Navika, if I had been a reporter, pardon me saying so. Hello. Pardon me saying so.
I'm simple questions, and in response, you asked me a question.
Comment to make on that. Pardon
this
me.
is like we're talking of corona, and you're talking of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. These were two simple questions. Do you dispute? Did you dispute the railways order? No, you haven't, sir.
No,
do you dispute the railways order based on which Gujarat government charged the migrants?
There is a part. There is a part.
Well, even I'm completely out of time, but Ashutosh, quick point to you.
It does not say you should not pay this. You either
see,
collect or you
Navika, if I, pardon me saying so, if I had been a reporter following this story, I would not have taken the quote from the Love Agrawal. I would have gone to Mr. Railway Board Chairman B.K. Yadav, because he has been quoted extensively, and B.K. Yadav should come out and openly clarify that his statement he made to the Indian Express and other newspapers. Here he very clearly says, very clearly says that the money has to be charged. And Love Agrawal has no locus standi on this issue. So I will not take his word come what may. Either the railway minister should come out openly and contradict, or the railway board chairman.
We will try and continue to follow up with the railway ministry, the railway minister, and of course the railway board chairman to get more answers. But for the moment, it is a debate that continues to rage on. Is the government, which says it is paying 85% of the train fare, is it in the right? Or is it those state governments who have specially requisitioned these trains who are now making a big deal about the 15% that they could have very well picked up the tab for? That's where this entire debate rests. We'll continue to follow the story as we look at it in the days to come. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on debate number 1. On